scanners are not out there because even though they were open source, they were not polished open source projects. A good example of an open source project that's fairly polished would be OpenOffice. I mean, it actually works on everything I've tried it on. It works out of the box. So kudos to those guys. I think they did a fantastic consortium. And I'm going to tell you, there is one other thing that you're going to find just about everywhere you look in the 3D world, and that's the Mesh Lab backbone. Everybody that I see, including this, what was the engine thing we looked at?
You're talking about Fuel 3D.
Fuel 3D.
Yeah.
Everybody is using Mesh Lab for their backbone. So if you have some interest in 3D scanning or 3D pictures, structure from motion, or any kind of point cloud manipulation, you should take a look at the Mesh Lab. There's a lot of stuff online with it. You don't have to bring it up per se, but you can.
Well, I was, thinking that if anybody wanted to see what it was like, so. Eagle and Jay and Alan. Oh man, you guys are bad. So this is Mesh Lab, as you guys can probably see here. So it's the same. You load any kind of
open Space Cows and show it to them.
I don't think I have a Space Cows.
Sure you do.
Here.
It's on the Y drive.
Okay. Where on the Y drive?
Go to the Y drive. You go under,
All right.
And you go under 3D printer objects.
Okay. 3D printer files.
I think it's there. If it's not, it'll be.
Space Camp? No.
No. Go back.
Okay.
Go down to 3D printer files.
There we are.
You see Space Cows?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how everybody uses a computer different.
Unify duplicated vertices.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
So.
See, I grew up on a Mac
Yeah.
in my first mouse device, and I don't click open. I just double click.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to me to see how different people use different things.
If anybody wanted to know where this particular file came from, which we're not giving out, it comes from a very nice Canadian man by the name of Polyoptics. You can Google him, and you can see that this particular model and a few others like it are available actually for sale. So, but he was one of our backers. Unfortunately, during the course, he still backed us, and thank you very, very much. But he's been wanting us for quite some time to print this, and we unfortunately haven't been able to get around to printing this for him just as of yet.
That's the advanced print.
Yes.
And actually, that's going to be the first for our dual material print that I'm going to do.
Yes. But as you guys can see here, just like any other videos that you see out there, they're using Mesh Lab pretty much to show you any one of the objects. So I just wanted to show you guys that.
Just watch the form factor, feel, and function, and you'll. So it looks like someone has taken a lot of time to write a lot of software, when in reality they kind of borrowed a little bit. And we're in the same boat. I'm not saying any different, because we're going to use Mesh Lab as much as possible. I mean, why reinvent the wheel? And these guys did a great job. And somewhere out there we'll try to do more good stuff for them.
Oh, the Cossid, have a good time.
Yep.
Have a good week. Yeah, good week. Yeah. And we'll see you next time. Oh man. So.
Bye.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for coming by, and thank you for the questions.
Good
stuff. Before we get to any other questions, the question from June Lee, who is probably lurking on this one as well. June wanted to know who was going to be on that first initial run up to the Northeast area.
Is he in the Northeast?
Yeah, he's in New York City.
I wish you'd asked me that an hour ago. I could tell you who I'm going to see.
So, okay. So, the Northeast Corridor Tour. So, the very first one.
I have to look.
Okay.
Because it's the specific. I have room for 6 of the systems. I don't have room for 7, and I got to see who's on that run. So
yeah.
I almost said it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. You guys want your printers.
Yeah.
We have a second trip 2 weeks later, so if we don't hit you on the first trip, we'll hit you on the second one. I don't know what to say. I mean, we're trying to make sure you get it. It's perfect.
And it
sets
arrives
up
and
it runs.
Yeah. HYREL Northeast 2013 tour, printing mile by mile.
You know, you'd think this would be something you just put in a box and ship, but the systems are big, and I just want them perfect. I want to see the first print be the first perfect print. I don't want to see the 1500th print come out perfect. I want that one to be perfect too, but I don't want it to be the first perfect print.
Yeah.
So you know, we're trying to design this thing for success on that. And yeah, if anybody wants to come for training and pick up their printer, please contact us. We will accommodate you in numerous ways. We have a group coming through next week.
Yes.
And next week we
18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. Yes.
You know, Yeoman, I don't know where you're coming from, but if you want Florida,
yeah.
If you want to come up here and get trained, we have we're a small, friendly group, you know, so don't expect anything spectacular, but you can be sure you'll be where the action's at, and you can be sure. Oh, St. Pete, I like that. It's 8 hours and 10 minutes to St. Pete from here.
How late are you up for tonight for training?
Are you on your way over? Is that what you're saying? We're not doing training this week.
It's next week.
It starts exactly 7 days and 3 hours from now. So we have a good group. We have a group. We have the gentleman from Argentina, a young guy. We have a local person who's 50-ish, 45-ish. We have a couple of high school kids.
Yes.
What we're doing during that training period is we are observing how other people put the printer together and what troubles they may have that we overlooked. We've said that before, so if there's one or two people that would like to come in, we're easygoing. I'm sure there's going to be some pizza action. I'm sure there's going to be lots of printing action. I'm sure there's going to be a little hair pulling action, just because we haven't figured every possible contingency out. There'll be a lot of software loading. We want to teach everybody how to load the software, how to upgrade the software, things like that. And it's not a big deal. That's just a small part of it. The real thing is just what we've been showing you. It's how to mix the secret sauce. And Hutch here is going to be making video after video of that. But you know, we're friendly people, and we like to interact with other people. So if anyone wants to come for training then, or I think that the next training session will be around, and I hope this doesn't make anything wrong, somewhere around September 11 to 15, just before the next Mini Maker Fair. I think we'll have another group coming through. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. Anyway, I see us running late, and we don't really want to just run the broadcast all night. We're going to keep printing here until this part's finished, and then I will go to bed, because my little boy starts school tomorrow morning. That means I must be up and bright and bushy-tailed. Are there any final questions? We don't want to drag this on. Of course, we wanted to show everybody. So, as a parting shot, we'll put up the printer, and we might even let it run for a few minutes and then sign off.
We had a couple questions come through on the last update I put out there last night from Powers USA, who wanted to know if it's safe now to buy 1.75 millimeter filament, and what are we going to do with the 3 millimeter filament? So 1.7.
I would like to address that.
Okay.
I really would. That's a great question. I hope everybody, including the lurkers, are listening to this. We were printing virgins at one time. We're now a little more experienced. And now, one of the reasons why we picked the particular test print that we're working on, which, by the way, will be the star of next week's broadcast, right? We picked it because it's a large part, and we actually had one printed because we wanted comparisons. We wanted to see what a high-end machine would do, And we wanted to see what our machine does, because we feel like our machine needs to be equivalent or better than, quality-wise, of a high-end machine. And we're not talking a $3,000 machine. We're talking one that costs as much as my van, my family van, not my Ferrari van. Okay, so the first and most obvious thing was, if you start printing like a maniac running all over the place, your finish goes down. So we looked at this and we realized that somebody fudged out there. And what they did was, don't worry about it, that's just an ABS supplier.
Yeah.
What they did was, they didn't print with a 1/2 millimeter nozzle. They printed with a 3/4 millimeter nozzle.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start printing with the larger nozzles, it makes all the sense in the world for some structures. And in that case, that 3 millimeter material starts to look really inviting. So we're just saying, don't throw anything away and don't order anything else just yet. We can get more ABS than you can shake a stick at.
Oh yeah.
So what we want to do is demonstrate 2 orifice sizes to you and show you where one is appropriate and where the other one is appropriate. The mentality of how you use this particular machine is not common with the mentality of other printers, because when you can change a head in 30 seconds, true, it takes 3 minutes to get to temperature approximately. Not 10, not 15, and not 1, but 3 minutes. It's not such a big deal when you have a 12-hour build. By the way, the part we're talking about was 13 hours and 41 minutes to print.
Yeah.
So it's no small part.
No.
And that was using what looks to be a 3/4 millimeter nozzle, orifice size. So you know, it's pretty good size. I mean, to me, it is a great example of 3D printing, and I think you guys will agree when you see it on the next broadcast that it is a great example of it. Truly useful. Truly useful. Something machining would have been a total nightmare. That said, there's a place for fine detail, and there's a place for rigid structure. Now here's the really cool part. We can't do this today. I mean, I could actually do it today. The slicer can't do it today. But we can write the G-code and actually make it happen. We see clearly, and I mean as clear as crystal clear, that there will be in the near future a skin using the fine resolution filament and a fill using the larger orifice size. Hence, we get the quick build but with beautiful detail. And of course, we'll build on that with multiple colors. And of course, we'll add new and unusual fill materials, i.e. support materials. And then comes the metal inserts. And then you're going to have what we consider to be state-of-the-art printing.
Oh, yes.
So, I don't get me wrong. There's some object printers out there that are phenomenal. When I see them, I drool because of what they've got. But it's outside the scope of our abilities. So, I mean, it's just, I can't offer a $250,000 printer for $2,500. I wish I could. Time will come. I'm sure that printing technology is on its way here and cheap. Just go out 15 or 20 years. So, there you go.
Yeah, like the ship in the bottle one. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I hope they print the bottle around the ship.
The bottle from what I saw, was completely full, holding the ship together. So
awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, but you could see through the material, which was actually very cool.
So to answer the filament question, don't buy any, don't sell any, hold on to it. Then we'll show you what we can do with the 2 sizes. And then, if you need more, you can't get it, just let us know.
Thanks, Powers USA. 3D printer versions no more.
Yeah, for beginners. Yeah, for beginners. Actually, this is 3D printing for dummies.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Seraphinius.
The good thing is, the machine has never given us any problems. The darn stickiness of the stupid ABS has only given us problems the last couple weeks. So, having solved that, you can see we're in a better mood and we're more elated and more awake, partly because of the sweet tea tonight.
Away on that one.
I think that needs to be in your spin video.
Okay.
I'd like it to have the hinges on it.
Okay. Okay. So wait on that one.
Aren't you working on that this week?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
If the hinges are there, then absolutely, then I'm there.
So that was a question about showing you something.
Yeah. So yeah, I can
Look,
pull one back this
it's
week.
just the back cover of the engine. Don't even worry about it. It's just a little thing that we thought was really nice touch, and you'll see it
Yes, you
soon.
will. Let's see. I guess another question comes from. Are you using from Alan? Are you using default move speeds so far? Default move speeds. Good question.
Default's a tricky word. When you do the slicing, use a parameter that you define those parameters, and it slices and appropriately loads the speeds. To answer that question, Slicer 3, or Sly 3er, however you say it, Slick 3er, it did all the slicing and provided each and every, I mean, this G code is unmodified with one small exception. I tell it to run the line between the skirt and the start of the build continuous, and the reason for that is that very first little start of your profile, if you don't get that bead flowing right on the money, then you end up with a void, and it's a terrible way to start your whole build. So what I do is from the outside of the skirt to where I'm moving in, normally they do this little jerky motion like that, and they turn off the extruder, and then they try to start printing in this one little dot. I let it run a smooth move with a continuous bead, and then it just starts the profile. When you're done, you just trim it with a razor blade. It takes 1 second, but it guarantees a beautiful flow start. And when we were lifting up, it was one of the first places that it would lift up, was right where that bead wasn't sticking. So call it a habit, call it a rubber rabbit's foot, whatever you want. That's the one little modification, and it's literally just typing E.001, and I will stick it in automatically before we ship the software out.
Alan says, yeah, I know that one. I do 4 loop, fast loop skirt then into my model.
Yeah. Okay. So,
and Eduardo, 3574, did you ever get to printing the part I sent you? Eduardo,
is that the block with the holes in it?
You're going to have to,
ask him. If it's the block with the holes in it, we have not printed it yet, but we are ready to print it. So if you could just verify that that's the one I think it is.
I'm not, Eduardo, I'm sorry, I don't know the link between your name and the
emails. Yeah.
Sorry. So.
If you don't want to describe your email, where you're at, just tell us where you're at.
I'm on email, on Gmail Gmail right now, so if you want to send me a quick IM or a quick email, I'll know it's you, and then go from there. So, let's see. Yeoman asks, so what is the plan for next week? And I believe what you're asking, Yeoman, is for the training. For the training, what we're going to be doing for training.
That or for next week's broadcast.
Okay.
Which do you think it is?
I think, well, since he says that he's going to be the one who might be coming by to pick it up.
Where do you see that, though?
Yeah.
Oh, you skipped way back up there.
Yeah.
I'm reading now at the bottom.
Well, it's because, I'm trying to get everybody's question.
You know what? We would love to have you come up. So why don't you Skype in with us, and we'll talk to you personally, and we'll let you know. We'll give you a shot of where we'll be working. And we'll show you. We're going to have the 3 or 4 printers that we're going to tear them apart. We're going to put them back together, and then we're going to hold a little training seminar. And each little group, we're going to have pairs of people. We'll be printing, and then slicing or drawing and slicing. And so, what are we working on this week? I thought you'd never ask. Okay, here's our priorities. I have a couple of split streams. We have a software guru. He's working on the 3D scanning stuff, getting those open source projects to compile so we can try and integrate them. That's one. On the other side, our assembly group has got pretty well caught up on the engines, but not on the systems. But they can't work on the systems until they finish a Bosch order for us.
Yes.
And so they've got probably 3 more days. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where I've got them sitting up and working on that. And I apologize, but this is an old customer, and it's one that we just try to stick by our word. We always take care of the oldest customer first, and they are kind of paying for the other half of this project. So we're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're working for them so we can pay for this.
Yeah.
That said, Hutch and my time is 99% dedicated to the printing, and the other guys are helping to alleviate that. So what are our technical challenges this week? One, we have another extruder improvement. This one is working well. As a matter of fact, now that we got the hotbed issue worked out or understood, it's printing real well.
It's really nice.
Okay, quit looking like that. You're making me snap my head back and forth. So, besides testing the extruder and getting off to Greg's system to him, and an extruder kit and a new heated build platform and the new leveling expertise, we are looking to model and figure out what it's going to take to make our heated build platform hit 100°C on demand. Not quickly, mind you, and it might be that it's 7, 8, 9 minutes to get to full temperature. I can't tell you that it will heat up faster, because the trade-off is if it heats fast, I'm putting a ton of power into it, and we're going through the 12 volts on the power supply, and I don't have 1500 watts to just throw out at no reason at all. Plus, it's a hazard. You gotta understand, it's a metal build platform, it's fused, it's low voltage. I could use a higher voltage heater element, but safety becomes an issue, and I don't think anybody wants me flexing back and forth with 110 or 230 volts AC, waiting for that cable to someday and shock you. So there. And then we have the packaging for the engine that we're going to try and do a test ship with at the end of the week for the engine with the new packaging. So that pretty much gets us to where it's at, and preparation for next week's training and 2 weeks out's road trip. So those are our primary emphasis. We have an ongoing thing. Greg works every day on the software. Thank you, Greg, a million times.
Thank you, sir.
We are working on software every day, but I'm working on it from the standpoint of what it's taking to increase the prep and the build experience. Meaning I'm trying to automate or remove redundant and frivolous button pushing or slider fixturing. We're trying to make it simpler and simpler, and that happens every day. So there, I hope that lets you know what we're working on.
Good question, Yeoman.
Yeah, on next week's broadcast, we will be printing a large part.
Yes.
We will be working through the week and using that for our guinea pig. That's providing that this beautiful print that's coming out continues to keep coming out. I do know of a small little tweak on this hothead that will make it even more consistent, and I'm quite pleased with it so far. Well, I saw something and I said, you know what? That's 98%. I see the last 2%. Let's just go take care of it. So that will happen this week as well. Matter of fact, it should happen tomorrow unless I get distracted too much. So there you go. Let's see what it is.
Powers USA says, by the way, the reason why I asked about buying 1.75mm filament is that Monoprice, the place where you buy cheap HDMI cables, now sells ABS and PLA filament. Interesting. Okay.
Be careful about stocking up on stuff until you've tried it, the filament. We have... Did you show them the box online?
I did not show them the box online, but when let me say this: when we went to the Bay Area Maker Faire, Greg had one heck of a fun time with our mystery plastic. For those of you who don't know, white ABS, white PLA, black ABS, black PLA, for some odd reason, is a pain in the rear. And the reason why is because it's all over the map. the temperature is different, the flow rate's different. Everything about those two particular colors is all over the map. So be very aware and be very cognizant that when you go from one color to the next, there are issues, specifically with white and specifically with black. One particular tale about that is that Freeside Atlanta, which is a hackerspace, geek space, a makerspace here in Atlanta, they have nothing but white and black filament because that's the only thing those people couldn't print with. And so here you go.
Here, hold this one.
Okay.
Woohoo! So we have our good buddy,
It's ABS green.
and that would be Tide, and he's in Shenzhen, and he has contacted and acquired. This looks like a PLA to me.
That is PLA, natural
Okay.
PLA.
And you can see these come packaged different. This one's a more, probably a higher integrity based on the plastic. This one's a little bit thinner. You can see the size of the reels. That one's paper. This one's plastic.
Paper there, plastic.
I might like this one better from that
That one's all plastic.
This one is a cookie cutter. I mean, it looks like a cake. So that comes in some amazing stuff.
Yeah. You can use it as a container afterwards, which is actually kind of nice.
I actually like the way they labeled this one. It says ABS filament.
GS Dua.
I am a doer. There, wow, that's probably a translation that got lost in the middle of it. So we're in the middle of making prints with these different materials. What we're trying to say is that we have even more in the other box in the other room.
Yes.
So we have materials from at least a half dozen different sources at this time. What we have heard and what we've seen is not all plastic is created equal.
So it differs from manufacturer to manufacturer, so be very careful. But part of the reason why we've set up the system and the engines as they are today, especially within the software, and that's the second part of all of this, which is what I'm working on, is to allow you guys to share those recipes. So that if you're going to be able to print with one type of plastic, if you're buying it from one particular source, that you can share that with anybody else. So when one person has it dialed in, they can share that with the rest of the world. So, yes. Now Carl wants the camera. Here you go. Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
I have to remember I got my big stick out there.
Oh. Staying nice and flat. Oh.
I see where I had, if not
Just a little bit?
You know what? I think one of the corners may have pulled up slightly.
Oh.
That's okay. I think we'll make it through the print all right. I'm just saying, and you know what? I'm going to tell you that this is the side that's cooler.
Yeah.
The heat lamp's on the other side. So it gives me some real important stuff to work with.
That makes sense.
And coming in for the runway shot. So I think you get a pretty good appreciation for the fact that it's not warping very much at these temperatures.
Every now and then, guys, if you hear a pop, we don't know exactly what that is. It could be like right there. It could be the filament. Could be the moisture in the air.
You know what it could be? It could be the start-stop too. We stuck a little air in there when we go reversing.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. I'll bet you anything that's what it is. There you go.
Okay.
You want me to... Let's check this temperature while we're at it.
Okay. Let them see that you were checking it.
Yeah, we're at about 100. The plastic's running 100 degrees C, 103 degrees C. But if you come check this corner over here, I'll bet you it's a lot lower. It's just 95 or so.
It's about 10 degrees cooler, though. Yeah.
91, 95. So it is 10 degrees cooler in this corner. So
that
could very well be it.
Maybe we've got to keep the ABS at the correct glass transition temperature of like.
You know, I would love to put a drop of water on here and see if it boils. I just don't want to crack the glass.
Your wish is my command.
No, 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 no. You'll crack the glass possibly.
Really?
Yes, because this one was dropped and I got a fracture plane in it already.
Okay.